It wasn't enough to issue social distancing and stay-at-home orders. Oh, no, 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 no. She decided single-handedly what was and what was not essential. Headline, MichiganLive.com. You ready for this? Marijuana shops to remain open with essential businesses amid coronavirus stay-at-home order. Quote, Michigan marijuana shops may remain open during the COVID-19 coronavirus stay-at-home order issued Monday by Governor Gretchen Whitmer, the marijuana regulatory agency says. And then another quote, Executive Order 2020-21 prohibits all businesses and operations from requiring workers to leave their homes unless those workers are necessary to sustain or protect life or conduct minimum basic operations. Businesses must determine which of their workers are necessary to conduct minimum basic operations, unquote. So let me get this straight. Pot is essential to life. Well, let's get crazy here. How about growing food in, let's say, a box garden while in lockdown? Believe it or not, that's a big no-no. Headline NPR Michigan. Garden centers at large stores must close under governor's order. Quote, the governor wants people to restrict their trips from home to getting the essentials such as fuel and food. Large retail garden centers have been ordered to close temporarily. Callie Gaffner works at a small garden center. She said banning fruit and vegetable plants would not help limit the spread of COVID-19. If you're growing them yourself, you're reducing the contact between people because you're not going anywhere, Gaffner explained. Well, what if I wanted to grow pot in my box garden? How does she justify this? How does she do this? Well, because it's snowing.
So we just had snow. I've got snow on the ground here in Michigan right now in Lansing. We're expecting, up to 30 inches in the Upper Peninsula. The fact that we're cracking down on people traveling between homes or planting or landscaping or golfing really for a couple more weeks isn't going to meaningfully impact people's ability to do it because the snow will do that in and of itself.
Where's Farmer Mike Bloomberg when you need him, right? Okay. This gave rise to the first Operation Gridlock protest. Now, all of a sudden, Democrats, get this, are bristling at the idea of street-level protests and people blocking streets. Did I mention that abortions, according to Whitmer, are also essential? So you could buy pot, you could buy alcohol, you could even play the lottery and get an abortion, just don't grow any cucumbers. To think this woman is on Biden's short list for VP. We're going to give her a 2 out of 10 because her bans are just plain stupid. Next is Washington State Governor Jay Inslee. This guy is always screaming that the sky is falling.
Governor, you called the president's tweets saying liberate Michigan, liberate Minnesota, Virginia, dangerous, unhinged. You just heard him say, I'm wondering what your reaction is.
Extreme disappointment and frankly anger because, we've lost over 500 people in my state. And we know, there's an old saying in automobile safety, speed kills. Well, words can be fatal too. And when you have a president of the United States openly, willfully, maliciously trying to encourage people not to abide by the law in these states, these orders are the law of these states. And to have a president of the United States willfully trying to inspire people to disobey the law and violate the law with potentially fatal consequences is unbelievably irresponsible, and there's no other way to look at it.
It's exaggerating just a little bit here. We're not talking about laws that are on the books. We're talking about guidelines and the assertion of emergency powers. Nobody's breaking the law, but here he is on social media attacking Trump's series of liberate tweets. Quote, the president is fomenting domestic rebellion and spreading lies, even when his own administration says the virus is real, it is deadly, and we have a long way to go before restrictions can be lifted. Really? Rebellion. We're talking about rebellion here. Here's our own Elijah Schaffer on the streets of the Capitol.
Right outside the Capitol building here in Washington, hundreds, if not well over a couple thousand patriots have already begun gathering basically to protest the tyranny of the shutdown and the stay-at-home orders. Look at how strong the support is amongst the people here in Washington State right now. In Olympia, outside of the building, it's not even begun. It doesn't start until 1 o'clock, and it's already looking like a pretty big turnout so far. So take that, all you tyrannical governors.
Yeah, those people look really dangerous. That's a rebellion. That's a rebellion? Why don't we take a look at the streets of Seattle on any given day?
Nazi bugs! Nazi bugs! Nazi bugs! Nazi bugs! Nazi bugs! Nazi bugs!
That Inslee has no problem with. So you know what? We're going to give him a 3. All right, let's get down to Texas and Governor Greg Abbott. This guy rocks, and he's always on top of things and seems like a solid guy. He's actually one of the few governors who wants the whole country, or at least his state, back up and running.
With regard to our ability to contain this going forward, we have the tools and strategies to make sure that we will be able to contain it as it begins to grow, which we know that it will. And with our medical doctors and with the resources that we have and with the hospital availability that we have, we know that we will be able to contain this as we slowly, in baby steps, begin to open up our economy.
Not much to add, so I'm just going to go ahead and give him a 9. Last and least, the worst of the bunch, my governor, Phil Murphy of New Jersey. First, he tried to shut down all gun sales. Then he invoked the power to confiscate pretty much whatever he wanted and the power to use the state police to do it. Well, here he is on Tucker Carlson's program being asked a question about the Bill of Rights.
The Bill of Rights, as you well know, protects Americans' right, enshrines their right to practice their religion as they see fit and to congregate together to assemble peacefully. By what authority did you nullify the Bill of Rights in issuing this order? How do you have the power to do that?
That's above my pay grade, Tucker. So I wasn't thinking of the Bill of Rights when we did this. We went to first of all, we looked at the data and the science, and it says people have to stay away from each other.
That's my governor. Total 0. Big goose egg. All right, so here's the argument. The Democrat governors through the media cannot claim they are sovereign, but also not responsible. They also cannot claim the president has no power whatsoever, but to absorb all the blame. Authority here equals responsibility. The governors are acting like teenagers who yell at their parents, "Yeah, I'll do whatever I want." And Trump is like the dad saying, "Okay, pay your own rent." Instead of focusing on where the governors went wrong, the media has chosen time and time again to blame the rapid spread of this virus on President Trump. As you can see, that's not at all fair. And oh, newsflash, the president has virtually no control here, at least by their standards. But the governors do. And while some are doing all they can to get Americans back to work as soon as possible, while doing their best to contain the spread of the virus, others were completely ill-prepared in the first place, and frankly, are just using this to their own political advantage. So Trump is supposed to deliver all the needed relief, and the blue state governors are supposed to be cast as the heroes. I don't think so. Let me end with this. The governor of California demonstrating who's the real priority of the left.
Elisa Ross of Telemundo has a question about requests that Senator Maria Elena Durazo and other advocates have been asking you for more relief for undocumented workers. Can you clarify if you're doing anything on that front?
Well, no state in America does more to help residents regardless of their immigration status, and I'm very proud of the work that we did together last year to expand our health care capacity more formally, not on the emergency side, but on a preemptive side. I very specifically mentioned in my remarks yesterday that there are many businesses, tens of thousands of businesses that do not and cannot get the support of the SBA. Those individual businesses, we are making available these emergency grants.